Yeah, no, somebody smacked into Sako's car, and yeah. Other than that, though, my day's been pretty good. Doing some audio booking again.
Yeah, I saw. What are you listening to now?
I'm trying to get down to the bottom of the science behind anxiety. Sort of
It's a
how it
good
all.
first step. That's a good first step.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I understand anxiety. I just don't know like the biological and chemical explanation behind it. Very, very intriguing to be able to understand exactly what's happening as it's happening to me. So,
Yeah, I
uh,
got this book I'm reading right now.
the what was it? The Awakened Family, written by Sarkis Janessian. That was written by Sako.
Yeah, I figured read a parenting book or two to, with the kid coming so I don't fuck it up like how our parents did.
I like it. I like it. Get off to a good start.
Yeah. We read about everything else, right? We read about health. We read about finance. We read all this stuff. And it's like, let's read a parenting book to see how we should parent.
That's so cool. What else do you guys have in mind for getting ready for the baby? Do you guys have, obviously books are definitely a good idea. What sorts of like people go to like yoga and like meditation? You guys have anything? Couples, baby yoga?
Not couples. Betty's doing that. Betty's doing her meditation, yoga, stuff like that. I'm just along for the ride, man. Like, there's really not much I could do.
Yeah.
Just here to
You're not going to make her take an Uber to the hospital. I got you.
Depends on the day, what's happening,
Do you think you'll be in the room?
Yeah.
So yeah. Instagram kind of feels empty without you.
Yeah, I just signed on today just to post something real quick, and then it's like I'm back off.
So I was going through my story earlier, and I saw one of my newest competitors creeping on my story. It wasn't the first time. Earlier, I had seen it, and I saw the name, and I didn't pay much attention to it, and I dug in deeper, and it turned out it was one of my competitors.
For car or restaurant?
Car. Restaurant stuff, they've always been checking it out, but I don't know how I feel about it. Do you think that I should be blocking my story from them?
No. So, yeah, today, and because I know you hit me up with this earlier about this, and then with the whole flip thing that I just finished today, and we kind of want to talk about competition, and should you pay attention to it? Should you let them pay attention to you? How do you react? And we're going to kind of just go through our experience and what we do, not give you the advice on what to do. But should you block them? No. Why would you block them?
I just don't know how much of a fuck I should give.
Well, it's not about, what is he going to, he could go to your website and see what the fuck you got. Like, it's not that big of a secret.
True. But I guess just like
how you interact with.
Yeah, like my daily, like what I do, like my sort of involvement, where I am, who I deal with, like who are my followers.
No, because end of the day, man, like how is he gonna, or she, I don't know. They can't duplicate what you do, how you do it, right? You could give him your playbook right here. This is a playbook. This is probably a better playbook. So you give him the playbook. Here you go, Johnny, the car broker guy. Doesn't mean they're going to do it like you do. Not trying to gas you up because I'm not saying you're good, or it has nothing to do with just you as Ari, just anyone.
Right. And I think I, to some degree, have probably benefited from other brokers in the past, and it's interesting to me that you can be giving it your best, and somebody else could be reaping the benefits of your trial and error. I think what we've discussed before in the past, we haven't discussed this topic in particular, but we've made very, very short, quick statements about them. And one of them I remember was that, shit, man, why is it not coming to my mind? One of them was that I'll snip this out, but it really is important.
Well, while you think about it, you said you used to look at other car brokers. Why were you looking at other car brokers? And did you gain stuff from it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I was looking at other car brokers to sort of decide, okay, what should my pricing structure be? How much does he put his own personal name on his brand of business? And what's working for him? Like what keywords, what sorts of marketing tactics, how does that work for him? And I benefited from that a little bit in the very beginning.
Local or out of state?
Local.
Oh, wow.
But I started to create my own style that a lot of people started to replicate, to start doing, paying attention to certain things more than they were doing before. Or maybe they just got in the business and they know exactly because all they had to do was copy paste.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question to you is, since Shant, you haven't been in this business 10 years, right? When you got in, split it up for us into two sections. I know you're concentrating now a lot, as much as you can, on flipping and investing. And your primary is real estate sales. And obviously those two share a lot of commonalities.
Yeah.
How would you have looked at, or how do you look at competition? How does competition help you? And how do you think that you perform or operate relative to the competition? Where are you? Where are you on that map of you and the competitors?
So in flipping, investing, or sales?
Whatever you find to be the most relevant example.
Let's talk about the flipping, right? That's more tangible than rentals and shit like that, right? So your question was what again?
Where do you find yourself on that map of you and other competitors?
Okay. Yeah. So it's funny because I have a business partner, right? So we're in this together. We kind of are in the map of, we reached out to all the top, not all, but a lot of top people who are doing it, right? And we took a little bit from this guy, took a little bit from this girl, took a little bit from this guy, and kind of saw like from everybody and kind of put it together, right, for our own kind of deal. So we paid a lot of attention to the competitor, actually, like a lot. Like we studied the competitor a lot.
And what did you guys take from it? Be honest. What practical examples from the competitor did you take back? Maybe like a couple.
Okay. One thing is make sure you're, like the way someone's like, okay, when you find a deal, right, you have to figure out if this deal makes sense, right? And everyone has different ways they analyze a deal. But this guy that I know does a lot of flips, probably 10 a month. He goes backwards, right? So I took that tangible advice of like, okay, the price when you sell it, it's going to be $400,000. So he's like, okay, start chipping away. How much is it going to take? All this stuff. How much are you buying it for? How much interest? You go backwards to find out the golden number. So that's one, but there's so many different ways you could create finding what that number is. So that's one way I copied kind of that person. Another thing would be kind of how you structure the relationship between you and your general contractor. Okay. Another one for me is how to deal with a business partner in this, right? Because I've never had to do that. And I talked to someone who has business partners and how you kind of split the work up and how you kind of have your own roles. Because like one guy's like, okay, you have a business partner, he does what he does, you do what you do. The whole point of a business partner is you guys are two very busy people. He's going to do the stuff you don't want to do, and you're going to do the stuff he doesn't want to do. And that's how, we kind of cut a lot of wasted time.
Right. How long did it take you to flip that house?
So from the day we bought it to the day it sold today, it was little under 4 months.
What would you say contributed? So is that a long time or a short?
No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
What would you contribute to be the major reason for success in the short time? Was it something that was out of your control? Was it your market? Well,
the market is good, right now. So, I mean, there's really not a lot of inventory, but this specific house is a unique house because it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And here there's a lot of big houses. So like not a lot of people are looking for 2-bedroom, 1-baths. But what really, I think, separated it was the work. It was really good quality, right? Because if you had shitty quality, people are gonna come in, it's gonna stay on the market a little longer.
I see. So I guess sort of my concern in all of this is how are you different from how is Shant different than Mark? Is my question. And how do you think that is interpreted as you're growing, as you're in your pool of this many realtors? Not only how are you setting yourself apart, but how do you think that's affecting other people, or is it? I guess is my question. Do you think you're there yet? Because I'll sort of compare it to me, Shant.
Yeah. So in the flipping game, no, right? We're brand new, right? And investing. But it's funny because how you separate yourself, right, is you have like a little of a brand, right? Because I know there's one girl in downtown Scottsdale. Remember when you came to downtown Scottsdale?
Yeah.
She does all her flips there, right? She's known. Okay. So when you go in, like you walk in, it's her product. You could tell.
Like she has her own unique way of, like if you copy her, they'll be like, dude, you copied.
Yeah. So, but what I and my business partner want to focus on, what's going to kind of separate us, or because I know some people do this, is we want the buyer experience to be really good, right? So when they buy the house, they feel at ease, right? Like the one thing we just did before they moved in. Today's they're moving in. Yesterday we got the house professionally cleaned for them.
That was something I had to pay for. That's nice.
Yeah. Because I know I've moved into homes, and that's like the most annoying part. So I'm like, like that's a cool experience. Making sure they're okay with whatever they need. I called the guy, the agent today, to let him know, like, hey, if your clients have any questions or need anything after this, let us know. Like, we're here. And the guy even said, it was like, oh, dude, he's like, you guys made it such a good thing. I'm going to look out for your next deal, and hopefully I have a buyer for you guys.
So he's looking out for you because of how you separated yourself. Had he already purchased a few times in the past or once in the past before? Do you think? I
don't know.
Well, anyway, I just think it's strange to me that even somebody like me, that I'm positive I'm being copied left and right.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering, should I be blocking people out?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so, because they can never, like, you're still you. Like, so if we copied that girl that does all those flips, her style, right? They're going to know. They're going to be like, oh, this is her style. They're copying it. They're going to know when someone's copying your style.
So I guess, do you think it would be worthwhile so you don't think it's worthwhile to copy anybody's style, even if that style sells, even if that style is something that gets you a long way? As in, Shant, listen, there's certain ways to be listing cars for dealerships that a lot of dealerships started following suit. There's companies that will come out and take very, very crisp, nice HDR rather, high dynamic range pictures of cars, and you can tell like, oh, this thing started at prime, and all of a sudden Herb Chambers is doing it too. I wonder where they got that fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Right? But people don't notice these things if it's their first time buying a house.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like it's not something that unless you're in the industry and you're like worrying about getting scrutinized from within, okay. But if shit's working for somebody else, I'm wondering if it's at all possible and if it's wrong to be using competition's way of doing things, or if you should be giving a fuck what the competition is doing. Should you be giving a fuck?
Yeah, and I think there's two answers to it, and I think it's whatever people feel is right? Because so my mentor coach, he flips it in a way of, well, there's probably three ways. There's enough out there in the world. There's enough abundance, as they call it, right? It's okay if someone else gets theirs off of you too. It's like there's so much business out there, right? That's one way of thinking. The other is one other way is Gary V thinking of like, I just don't pay attention to anybody or anything. I don't know what's happening. And there's the real like fucking, if you listen to, what's his name? Tim Grover, Relentless guy. He's the guy who used to train Michael Jordan.
Wow.
And he's probably the type of guy that says, you look at your competition, then you slit their throats kind of guy. So it's like, pick
the direction you want to go in, fucking left, right, or back.
Yeah. So I don't know. What vibes with you from those three? And there could be a couple more. I don't know. That's just three that came to my mind.
So I like to be conscious of competition, like realize that they're there.
Okay.
I think that the moment that you become hyper conscious of competition, people start to see that. As in, people are aware that you care, that you're being mindful of the competition because there's something lacking with your product.
Well, I think you have to be aware of the competition, right? And like you said, just not hyper-focused, excuse me. You know what? Now that I think about it, and I know we talk about Gary Vee a lot, but I think he's full of shit on this one. I think
he's full of shit on a lot of things.
Yeah. So he says, don't worry about anyone. Don't think, he's like, I don't pay attention to anybody. I just do what I do. I don't even know who the other people's names are, right? He says that. But he also talks about how stupid Blockbuster was because they never paid attention to Netflix, or how stupid bookstores were because they didn't see Amazon coming. So you have to see what's coming.
Right.
Because they could be you plus 10 times better. And if you're not watching and paying attention, you could end up fucking like Blockbuster. I used to love going to Blockbuster, bro.
It was an activity. It was like getting coffee in the morning.
I loved it. It was like Friday night, Saturday night, go with the brother. Like, what are we going to rent?
Sold out.
Yeah. Dude, damn, those were sick times.
They were. I agree. I can't, that example you just gave, I can't stand shit like that when Gary,
and he gives a lot of good stuff though, can't,
I understand, but it's meant to get you fired up. I'm telling you, it's not meant to like be sound and like bulletproof advice.
It's not sound business advice. If you think about it,
it's not.
You have to be aware of your competition.
I think what he's talking about more is stop giving a fuck about what people not in your business are thinking, but people that are judging what you're doing. I think he's saying to not give a fuck about that. But he just doesn't make that clear.
Well, no, he said, I don't know who my competitors are. I don't even know their names. I don't know anything about them. That's bad. Because think about any fucking sports teams, right? They watch film of their competitor to see how they could beat them.
Right. They're watching how they move, where they go, what they're
It makes sense in business, bro, to know what, and obviously I think it depends what kind of business you're in. Maybe, I don't know.
So a very, very good example of that, right? Like, so if somebody is in, you know the geography of like Boston to a certain degree, where I could tell you if you have a Middle Eastern restaurant in Belmont, say mine, and you have a Middle Eastern restaurant, say where you stayed at in Boston,
Yeah.
are we competing? Are me and
No.
my dad competing?
No, 0%.
Right. But you
So
have,
let me ask you, piggyback off of that. Do you, it's kind of weird, but do you pay attention to what they're doing? Do you see how they're doing things? It's a different market though, right? It is a different market. It's a totally different market. It's Boston where prices are going to be a lot crazier.
so
And they have more foot traffic.
it's a big slap in the face. And the reason why I do, this business has changed so drastically in the past 5 years, five at the most 10. It's been a major evolvement in between how we find food places. I'm talking about the restaurant right now, but obviously we're talking about the restaurant. How we order food, how we find restaurants, and all that stuff has evolved so much to the point where your competitor down the street and in Boston is the exact same. So a bulk of our business comes from easycater.com. I would
Okay.
say like 20% of our business comes from this one platform alone. So I was on it earlier and I was looking to see how restaurants are being served to you, sort of like when you're scrolling through like it's Tinder. Like
Yeah.
how do we look? Where do we come up? You know?
Yeah.
And given the amount of business that we get and how unattractive our listing was, I felt lucky knowing that we could have gotten more, but it wasn't that bad. So I'm addressing the problem today. The problem is that all these businesses that are ordering from us, they're not close to us. It doesn't make a difference for them to order from Boston, nor does it make a difference if they order from Belmont. It's going to be the same shit. It's all going to get there at 11:30 a.m. anyway. So who gives a fuck where we order it from? But the main problem for us was the picture that was being listed for us. Imagine you have a real estate listing.
Yeah.
With the main thumbnail being a picture of like a small closet versus like a mega mansion.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck went wrong? I have no idea. And I don't remember actually assigning that thumbnail. It was a picture of 5 falafels in a platter. It's not the worst thing to be using as a thumbnail, but like, dude, I have pictures of like close-ups of kebab. Like,
yeah,
right,
juice. I see it on your Instagram. Fuck, man. Yeah.
Like, you motherfuckers, man. Who changed this fucking thumbnail on us?
Like, you want to swipe through. It's like, dude, it's literally like when you're searching for houses, right? And on the MLS, right? You search and you're looking at the thumbnail. If the picture was something juicy, like the chicken zoomed in, you get hungry and you're like, oh, I want that place, right? Regardless, like your mind automatically says, I want this place. Okay. So when I'm listing a house, I look at all the photos in the near area, how people post their photos, right? And I find something unique about the house and I have that as the thumbnail, whether it's a sick backyard, whether if there's nothing unique about the house, I'll do a drone shot from the top to make it look cool, or just something to like switch it up.
Right.
So you have to look at the everywhere. You got to look at the competition, man. Fuck, dude.
How you look, like I did a Yelp search yesterday of our restaurant versus the nearby competition. Because when you're on Yelp, you're only looking within like a small radius.
Okay.
Right. So I was looking at how we look versus the rest of the competition. And the rest of the competition is investing so much in updating their own thumbnails and using their own images.
I've seen that a lot recently, man.
Right? to be able to do that, you have to have like a paid plan, which is my dad is against it. He's against Yelp. We have the highest rating of any of our competitors. He's literally told them to go fuck themselves on the phone. Like, I'm not giving you $1, and he click. So
yeah, but see, like I look at your first picture on Yelp. Not my favorite.
Yeah, and some of them, Shant, they're user uploaded pictures. You don't even have the choice. You don't even have the option. So Yelp operates, they've already factored in your competition. They know. But
yeah, you got good reviews, man. It's just that first picture, dude, is gonna. Should I talk to your dad?
No, this is not. It's not something about that. Why are you gonna pay $500 to gain access to upload your own thumbnail? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But do you have to? No, because no, that's not true.
What?
I uploaded my own.
You uploaded your own, but once another user, if a reviewer, how many reviews have you gotten on Yelp with images?
Images, none. Okay, there you go. That makes sense.
Somebody uploads a review with an image. That image, the latest one, supersedes the very last image. It uploads with recent imagery. So anyway, long story short, man, it's not even so much to look at the competition and see what their business strategy is, but how they're portraying themselves. Like, is the competition a better looking person than me? What am I doing wrong? Where am I losing people? And to some degree, man, like, you could temporarily, and this is what happened to us. And I kind of fucking pay attention, Shant, right now to this. This is fucking important right now. We temporarily saw a massive loss in business when we had our first two competitors open up. They opened up, one of them 6 months after we opened up, the other one like 2 years after we opened up. And both of them sent us in a wave of like down and then another up, because these fucks opened up, spent their marketing dollars attracting new clientele, attracting new business, only for that new business to realize that they suck, but were so interested in finding Middle Eastern food that they found us. So our competition stole business from us by dressing up, by making their businesses look so extravagant and nice, and failed to deliver, or failed, whichever one, just flopped. And the business ended up coming back to us, but it made us see a sharp dip in business because of competition taking over in aesthetic.
So what would have happened, though? I don't know if you guys thought about this. I just came to me. They took the business, right, because of like great marketing, whatever happened, but their quality wasn't good. The food wasn't good, I'm sure, and that's why they were seeking something else. But what happens if the food was amazing?
We would have been fucked.
So, like, now this is like Netflix Blockbuster. Now it's like, oh shit, you've noticed like someone could take clients from marketing. How do you prevent that now?
We don't know. So,
all right. Next question. No, I mean, yeah, I don't know either, bro. Like, it's fucking.
Wait, let's play a little mental ping pong right now. Hold on. So your question is what if their food was good? And
or whatever, yeah. If their business sustained and it was like, wow, like, let's keep coming here, so they didn't have to go looking for you.
Okay. So this is why your competition matters, right? So what is it that they're doing that's making their business stand out to the customer more than our business? Is it the ambiance of the restaurant? Is it how the marketing is being done? And if there's an external factor involved, like a third party that's recommending business. So I guess it's a little bit of dissecting the company.
How they got the
But do you do the dissecting before your business starts to go down? Or do you do the dissecting as the competition, as you become conscious of the existence of the competition? Do you see what, do you
Fucking
see?
tough.
Yeah. So do you do it with the conscious realization that the competition exists? Or do you do it hyper consciously, as in like fucking leaving your own restaurant,
Yeah.
going to theirs during lunchtime, kind of like peeking in?
Yeah. Like walk in the back, like, oh, sorry, I thought the bathroom was
shit.
here.
Sorry about that. You know, like how would you operate? How would you do that?
I would go check it out. I would fucking walk in there and see what's so cool about it. Like what, not cool, but like what it is. Get a sandwich. Look at their menu. Are they offering something different? And then look at their marketing, if you can, if there's a way to look at that. Maybe if they were advertising online, or if they're Yelp or whatever looks different. Like, are they hiring professional photographers, like you said? And just see like what's the main draw. And then like, just, okay, here's a good one. Maybe you ask a not impartial person that you know, like that would be honest. Like, yo, go to that place, check it out for me.
Yeah.
Like, like someone like that you could trust, like Anta, who'll be like, dude, their shit's better than yours, or their presentation or something, like they could tell you, I don't know.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you the conscious activity that I was making. I was conscious of it. My father was hyper conscious of it. I was conscious of it because I was so busy running the restaurant, right? But it's good that my father was able to do some things, right? So here's what I did, and here's what I want to recommend anybody do. Doesn't matter if it's a restaurant business or whatever, because this is where you really capitalize on their fuck ups. Shant, like I'm giving you something right now I never talk about. So what you do is normally all the fuck ups in a business, right? Because they're such a new business, they're getting Yelp reviews, any reviews being written about their business right away. You're going to get a lot of foodies that, oh, we found a restaurant, and these are the same people that write reviews.
Okay.
So normally, new businesses, regardless of the stars of the review, right? Because these foodies feel bad, a lot of them, they'll give them the 4 or 5 stars. But the actual review will allude directly to a problem. So even if deep down they wanted to give it 2 stars, 3 stars, but they felt compelled because they wanted to support the business, they'll give it the 4 or 5. And usually when you see a 4 or 5, you don't even read it.
No.
Right. So
you look at the bad ones.
Huh?
Yeah. You look at the bad ones, yeah.
You only look at the bad ones. You're trying to find a problem. You're not investigating for any underlying hinted problem. So what I was doing was I was going through the reviews, even the 5-star ones. I started seeing a trend in one restaurant and a trend in another restaurant. I started seeing a trend in poor service, poor quality service, and very long wait time for the food in one place. Not to mention very shitty quality food.
Okay, but let's take the shitty quality out, right? Because that could be judgmental. That could
be there you go.
Okay, so let's go with the service with wait time.
Right.
Okay.
I started to notice a trend here. Because the quality of my food is good, but I'm lacking in one department, which is probably like ambiance, right?
Yeah.
I'm strengthening one section that one guy found to be a problem and several others found to be a problem. So this problem doesn't exist at my restaurant, right? The other place, I started to see a trend in this place was very, very expensive pricing and very, very small portion size. The food was delicious though.
Okay.
So there was no bad review about the food. It was the size, the price, and the quality of the service. They were bougie.
Yeah.
Shanto, when I tell you I manipulated the fuck out of their weaknesses, right? Paid specific attention to everything that they're not doing correctly, right? And translated that to be like the biggest strength of my business. Anybody that went to this place subsequently came to mine 2 times more often than theirs and would complain to me about one particular aspect that I was very, very strong in that they weren't. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I know because you were probably the fuck that wrote the Yelp review in the first place.
So what you're telling me is kind of what you did, and I think that's fucking genius that most people, should look into this. So you looked at their Yelp reviews, the new 2 competitors. You looked at the good ones, the bad ones. You looked at everything. And so the majority said, okay, service is not great and it's super slow to get, takes a long time, wait time to get your sandwich, right?
Right.
So you're like, okay, that means now you're like, I'm going to double down on service, double down on like quick, get sandwiches out fast. So when those people eventually come, because they're probably going to, right? Because if they took time to write a review about Middle Eastern food, because it's a unique thing, they're looking for other places.
Yeah.
So you double down, you do the best, because that's important, man. Getting sandwiches out, like, you're in a rush, you want the food right away. Boom, you get that. That's fucking great.
So it's something that I have to keep up with now because there's now 2 more competitors that opened up. This is maybe in the last like year and a half or 2 years. And one of them is hitting the mark completely. Like it is doing very, very well, but I'm very excited that it's doing very, very well because it's not completely my menu. It's more like Haya Stansi style versus like Lipanansi style.
Okay.
So it caters to a different market anyway. It caters more to the Russian market and Armenian market, obviously. Russian, Armenian, Soviet Armenian influenced market versus the Jewish and Middle Eastern market.
Which is good because, they could they'll go to yours and theirs.
And both of us will see positive benefit from it. So it's not like it's a direct competitor, but it's a competitor. Like your brain can be swayed either way that night. You could be, you know what? Do I feel they're very, very close to each other? Which one do I kind of feel like more? Let me look on Yelp.
Yeah, that's usually the fucking key indicator. So you do have to look at, for you at least, you do look at the competitor. You are looking at what's happening, like hyper focused on, and you have to pay attention, man. Shit.
I think that the most important thing for me, the most important thing that I'm looking out for, which is kind of fucked up because this is how I look at a lot of things, is what you're doing wrong. Not what you're doing right, because what you're doing right to a certain degree isn't going to help me, right, in the short term. I need to know in the short term what I can capitalize, what I can strengthen, right?
So
in the long run, it's going to be a test of time seeing what you're doing right, because a lot of what's being done right is merely just an expression of creativity.
So I want you to, people to understand, I want to repeat that. What you said is you should focus more on what you're doing wrong than right, because what you're doing wrong that's when someone could come in, take advantage of that, swoop in, and take all of your clients.
Yes. What you're doing right has a lot to do with creativity. I'm telling you, it does. Yes, obviously pricing things how they're supposed to be priced. Giving a good portion size is important, but a lot of this, what you're doing right stuff, is common sense.
Yeah.
Having common sense. If you don't have common sense, what you're doing right, like this, we shouldn't even be discussing this because there has to be, you have to know what you're doing. It's just what you're doing wrong is probably stuff that has nothing to do with food.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to be aware of.
Yeah. So to flip it back to real estate, it's kind of funny because you asked me earlier today, because you're like, oh, you close the first flip. You're like, do I pay attention to what other designs and stuff are, right? Like, do I look at that or do I be a trendsetter, right? And so actually kind of like what you do is, no, I have to study what like the 1 mile radius of that place that we're remodeling. We have to kind of keep it similar. Because if you go too crazy, like, because this is how I see it, and I want you to tell me what you think. If all these homes that sold in the area that were remodeled were pretty similar, you throw some unique stuff in there, but like pretty similar, right? It's color schemes, tile, like all that stuff is cabinets, similar, right? Kind of. So that means what that tells you as a market researcher, buyers are looking in this area for this.
Yes.
Right? But if you try to be unique and different, okay, and put your own taste to it, now you're eliminating a lot of buyers and you're hoping or waiting for one. That's how I see it, right? But it's different in the restaurant business. If there's 10 pizzerias in the neighborhood, you don't want another pizzeria because everyone already has that option.
Right.
So it's kind of different.
So I guess this leads us to the very, very last thing about paying attention to competition. I find it to be a fact that you cannot piggyback off of somebody else's creativity. Like, you cannot piggyback off of the style of photos or layout of that other listing agent, how she worked to set up her listing, right? You don't want to, neither do you find it necessary to.
No.
Right. So I think that a lot of people would prefer to express their creativity on their own. If you go to a taco bar, right, you don't want a pre-arranged mixture of stuff on your taco. You want to tell the guy, no, I just want cheese, salsa, and guacamole. I don't want anything else. Don't tell me about why yours is all great because you thought it would be cute to put like ranch dressing on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So I think that to a certain degree, staying consistent with your competition, it's very, very important in succeeding in the long term. But how you can be creative is something that has to be factored in. Only if it's been well studied. Only maybe if it has something to do that's secondary to what the person is buying.
Yeah.
Maybe the ordering process, maybe the communication process, maybe this, but never, I don't think, is a good idea to manipulate the product that's being sold with your creative style.
Yeah. You have to market research. It can't be because you like it and you think, well, I know better than everyone else. Well, no, this is a proven, you could put your twist to it. You could put your flavor to it. Like, you're not going to have the same shawarma recipe as everyone else. You're going to have your flavor to it, but you're not going to put fucking a hamburger in your shawarma. Like, you're going to keep it consistent. Chicken, like it's consistent.
So do you think that those people that are like ultra passionate and like ultra like creative with their shit, do you think that those are the people that sometimes get lost and go down the drain in business?
It could hurt them, man, because they're too, sometimes I can see that being too emotional because you want to be so right about your style.
Right.
This is not my style. When I put a house, it's what everyone else wanted. Put a little twist to it, make a little, shot to it. But this is what everyone wants. This is what I'm going to give them. So I'm not tied to it. you know? Yeah, like today, go check out my Instagram story. Posted like a historic home, and someone put it's very unique to the neighborhood. Now it's going to probably work, but it's very different than what everyone else has done in the area, and we'll see if it's going to hurt or help them. But they were I met the owner. He was so invested. He was so emotionally tied to what he did that he's so blinded now by like when someone gives you bad comments or reviews about it.
So stupid, man.
Wow, very.
Yeah,
I learned a lot today.
I did too. I was gonna say, Shant, that just real quick, based on what you were just saying, people get romantic with what they're selling. They're not paying attention, and I'm not saying be hyper conscious of the competition. I'm really not. I'm not saying go and stalk whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
But make conscious business decisions based off of things that are working from the competition. Like, don't try to go in your own path as an entrepreneur, because that shit is not going to work. The reason why, you got to fail 15 times out of 16 because the 16th time, like, no, you should not be failing that many times. Do not listen to those memes. That's not a good idea. You'll go bankrupt by fucking the third business.
Yeah, seriously.
Who's the idiot that made that meme? That's not how it works. Nobody's going to lend you money to start a business at the fucking third one.
Yeah, that's not really good financial advice. Fail 15 times, go broke 15 times.
Yeah. And become a billionaire by saying, no, bro, if you didn't make it by the second or third time,
just give up, man.
See you later. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
That was good, man. Thank you. We learned a lot. Yelp that shit out, man, guys. Look at your competition. Look at what's going on. Lucy approves.
Lulu. Amo Arine.
Yeah. Come say hi to Ari. Nah, she left. She doesn't care about you.
Why do I look so beat? I swear I don't look like this. Like, I'm about to hop on YouTube. You're going to see it in high def. I don't look like this.
All right, guys, look out for his YouTube video. See how it looks. Talking about tacos, I'm getting hungry.
It's Taco Tuesday, bro. Get in it. Get at it.
Yeah.
Let's get this taco, baby. Good night, Shant.
Good night, Adi, and everyone else.